position as the Computer Systems Analyst for the Office of Open Government at BEGA. I also served as the Chief Information Officer for the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability, also known as BEGA. My direct supervisor was Director Allen, Nikhil Allen. I was terminated from BEGA on February 7, 2020, with no explanation given, other than the fact that I was on a probationary period. By way of background, I'm a seasoned information technology professional, having served many years in both the private and public sector. I also served as a professor of computer science and information systems at Johns Hopkins University. My credentials are recognized by the National Security Agency. I invented an information systems application that I used to successfully detect and mitigate harm against digital anomalies. I used my own creation in order to detect and block cybersecurity attacks from Ukraine on January 28, 2020. I discovered that Office of Open Government had been targeted by cyber criminals through what is called a denial of service attack. I notified the Chief Technology Officer at Octo, who escalated my concerns. Octo investigated the matter and confirmed my statements. I was thanked by Octo's excellent security management team for my excellent work and diligence. I potentially saved the DC government billions of dollars. I also used my application to detect fraud against Office of Open Government Computer Information Systems. I require a letter for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and this letter is extremely important to me. On December of 2019, I discovered that a BEGA employee had fraudulently accessed OOG's information systems, and I reported the fraud to Director Allen and then Office of Government Ethics Director Brent Wolfenbarger, who was the supervisor of that individual. Director Allen thanked me for my diligence as I potentially saved the agency millions of dollars, as I prevented the employee from deleting OOG's server. Mr. Wolfenbarger determined that this employee's actions should be formally investigated by BEGA based on my report of misconduct, which was verified by statements from OOG's vendor, Media Temple, as well as the employee's own admissions. Director Allen clearly stated that the conduct of the employee is a criminal act. Mr. Wolfenbarger assigned Ms. Rochelle Ford to formally investigate the misconduct. I felt attacked by Ms. Ford for reporting the ethical violations of the employee, and the supposed investigation was not concluded by Ms. Ford. That employee remains employed at BEGA, and I understand that this individual is responsible for approving financial transactions at the agency. Prior to Mr. Wolfenbarger's departure, I discovered that the vendor he had selected for BEGA's e-filing system had misrepresented itself to BEGA and Octo. After reporting the fraud, Mr. Wolfenbarger removed me from the IT project. Ms. Allen is aware of the reporting, and I believe she is also aware that Mr. Wolfenbarger made untruthful statements to the BEGA board concerning this project. I understand that Ms. Ford continued BEGA's business with this vendor. I believe that Mr. Wolfenbarger, Ms. Ford, and Ms. Allen failed to be honest, transparent, or accountable to the BEGA board based on information that they had and that they intentionally withheld from the board in their respective roles at BEGA. As a private citizen, I filed complaints both with the Office of Open Government and with the Office of Government Ethics. Mr. Johnny Barton, who is now the General Counsel for Office of Open Government, verbally admitted to me that OOG had failed to respond to my complaints on time and requested that I submit another complaint for proper response. This was in August and September of 2019, and to date I have not received a proper response. I submitted 3 complaints to the Office of Government Ethics, 2 of which were completely ignored, and 1 of which was improperly dismissed as Mr. Wolfenbarger only checked out apparently only a public website for the investigation of my complaint, despite the fact that I submitted documentary evidence in support of the misconduct and in support of my complaint. The complaint concerns district employees at the same agency, not BEGA. It's a DC government agency, and I believe at least one of these people committed criminal impropriety based on similarities to the Ali Shawkari case. Based on the above, I think that BEGA board should review the email communications between me, Mr. Wolfenbarger, the vendor, Ms. Allen, Octo, and Ms. Ford.
Ms.
I
Montgomery, I'm sorry to cut you off. We're already at 5 minutes. I was asking, can I help wrap up, and then I'll come back with a couple of questions to give you some more time.
Okay. I'm also going to recommend that the board listen to the audio recording between Ms. Ford and myself concerning the misconduct of the BEGA employee. And I also suggest that BEGA directors be more accountable and transparent to the BEGA board.
Okay. Thank you very much. And Ms. Brazil?
Good afternoon. My name is Dorothy Brazil, and I'm the Executive Director of DC Watch. I must say that I'm somewhat two steps behind, given the testimony Ms. Montgomery just gave. I have to keep on pinching myself that she's giving devastating testimony regarding the inner workings of BEGA, which is supposed to be our ethics watchdog organization. And if even half of what she has said can be verified, it's just a damning indictment. Let me just make some general comments because I know this hearing has gone very long. I think if you want to get a good overview as regards what I think the problems at BEGA are, there are two cases in addition to what Ms. Montgomery has just detailed that one should look at. One is BEGA's handling of the Michael Brown case, as well as BEGA's handling of the Jack Evans case. With regards to Michael Brown, everyone knows that he was a former council member who was indicted and served time in federal prison for soliciting and accepting a bribe from a potential DC government contractor.